Just waiting for this to go live. Okay. It looks good. Oh, darn. Sorry. Facebook Live.
I'm so impressed that you can do any of the tech things that you're doing right now. So.
Have all of you seen My Girl?
From like the 80s, 90s?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
So I couldn't find my glasses this morning. Like, I had taken a shower and everything. And I was like, no, I can't do this without my glasses. So it had me think of, he can't see without his glasses. He needs his glasses.
Oh my God, I'm like tearing up. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I was like, no, this would be the morning I misplaced them.
All right, thanks for your patience. Oh, I think we are live on Facebook now. Just want to make sure. Yeah, no, we are live. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm joined by my very lovely coworkers, Sarah Agdi, Sarah Rana, and Mayra Serna. Good morning, and thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to catch up with you, just chat for a little bit, have my coffee with you, because my coffee time is, I think, almost sacred to me. So yeah, thank you. Does anybody, I'm curious, like what do each of you do each morning to get ready for the day, get grounded? So whoever wants to start.
I'm down to start. So as I was introduced, I'm Mayra Serna, and I am a trainer with CCEJ. And some of the things that I do to get grounded, I try to keep it pretty consistent because I learned as I've gotten older, like my morning routine is like everything. And I love it like so much, and it makes all the difference in my day. And a few things that I do to get grounded is like you, Paulina, like I love coffee, and it's rare when there's a day where I don't have my coffee. Also, there's the whole ritual to it with me. Like I grind my coffee grounds, like my coffee beans every single morning. And then I use a coffee press. And so it's a whole thing. And like my dog's already acclimated to it. Like he already kind of knows when it's getting, when it's almost time for us to go for a walk. Cause like the coffee is like, ready. It's in the coffee press. And that's when we go on the walk. And then it's like, so I always do some kind of movement with him, whether it be like a walk or a run in my neighborhood. And then like sometimes we go down the bike path too, which is like really close to my house. And so we always go on a like nice little adventure together. Then we come back, drink my coffee. And then I always do some form of meditation, usually in the form of writing. So for the last like 3 years, I've been doing this thing called morning pages. So I write 3 pages every morning. Sometimes it's really hard to keep up with it when I have like an early morning meeting or training, but for the most part, it's been pretty consistent, and that's like a huge part. Like that makes all the difference in my day when I spend a little time writing. So I try to do 3 pages of writing. Sometimes I can only do 2 or 1. And yeah, and then I like open up my laptop and start working. So, oh wait, no, I shower and like get ready. And stuff. If I'm gonna have like a video like interaction, then like I'll shower and get ready. Otherwise, I'll just like jump right in, and then I'll like shower on my lunchtime or something. So that's kind of like my morning routine for the most part. And yeah, like I said, it just makes all the difference.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I can relate to the movement. I really miss when my partner was working from home, being able to leave my toddler at home and get out at 6 a.m. I'm a morning person, so I loved going out at like 6:30 a.m. to go on a quick run. Yeah, I love having that be part of my morning routine. Thank you for sharing, Mayra. Your video.
everyone. Sarah Rana. I use she, her pronouns. And I work with the Building Bridges department with CCEJ, doing residential leadership. And as opposed to Mayra, I am not a morning person at all. So my morning routine is not really set routine because it can change based on my mood, whether I'm grumpy or not. But one thing I do love is caffeine because it helps me get through the morning. So I have, during the pandemic, invested in a baby Nespresso to give me a good kick in the morning. Before that, I will have to admit I am a Diet Dr. Pepper obsessive person, and so that would be my go-to for the morning, and that would be my breakfast for the morning. So definitely not the best routine, but thankfully, since one of the positive things with the pandemic is that it's given me a little bit more time at home and not stuck in traffic, so I can actually like cook breakfast and like have an actual breakfast in the morning, because before I was not doing a great job at it. And other thing in the morning that really helps me is music. Helps me like get in the mood. I'll like dance around and everything and just get like energized before like jumping into work. And I will say I'm also a person that will start checking my email as soon as I get up on my phone, which is not a good habit to have. But just love like the work that we do and being able to connect to youth. And so as soon as I'm able to do that, I start doing that. So I wish I had the discipline to like write pages and like make my own coffee and grind it, but I'm just a push a button type of person. So
That works.
yeah.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing.
So Sarah Rana, I definitely identify with your morning routine a lot. So my morning routine, first of all, depends on where I'm working that day. So my partner has always worked from home, and so we're really lucky and blessed to have an office where he worked before COVID. And now that we're both working from home, we alternate who gets office days. And so honestly, if it's not an office day, which usually means that I don't have as many front-facing meetings or trainings, then my morning routine looks like my alarm goes off, I turn it off, I roll over in bed and start checking my email on my phone, very much like you, Sarah Rana. Sometimes even just pull the laptop up to the bed and then start work from there. And then at some point a little bit down the road when I need a boost, I will also go get my coffee. I have no shame in the fact that I am using instant coffee at this moment. So I am definitely not grinding my own beans. I am doing whatever works to get me through the days. I was definitely someone who like really enjoyed getting a latte every morning on my way to work, and have just had to figure out a different system and a different way of working. So that's how I start. And then similar to you, Mayra, I also get ready based on, do I need to be Zoom ready or call ready? Because those are two different types of ready. So depending on if I'm going to be showing my face or if I'm just going to be chatting with folks on the phone, that determines what I do visually and how I present myself. And then kind of like a hybrid of what's already been shared so far. So I do also do morning pages, but sometimes they're afternoon pages and sometimes they're evening pages and sometimes there are no pages. So very much in the spirit of, I do think that it is helpful for my mental health to just kind of get out those 3 pages and kind of free write. And I really, really value that. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't always happen. So that's part of the morning routine sometimes, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's part of a different part of my day. So I would say my morning routines are really flexible, I think, depending on how I've slept and what I have coming up and how much I need to prepare and how much I need to get settled and grounded. And I know that we're going to do some office tours, but I would also say sometimes essential oils or some kind of scent is a part of my morning routine. I think that really keeps me grounded, especially after my coffee is gone. It just gives me a different sense of focus. But yeah, that's what I do in the mornings.
Thanks so much for sharing. I was going to ask you all, you, Sarah, Rana, and Sarah, you sort of touched on it. I was curious if there was anything that was part of your morning routine pre-COVID that now isn't and that you miss, or alternatively, if there's something that you can do now that's become part of your routine that you couldn't do before. Yeah, I know for me, I didn't get coffee every day from a coffee shop nearby, but I don't know, there was something about being able to pick up coffee on my way to work after having dropped off my daughter at daycare that for some reason just got me in a better mood to go into work and start like get my day started. So I miss that. I get coffee maybe once a week now, and it's not quite the same. I don't know why. There was something about that routine, like I said. So yeah, I was curious, just very quickly, if anybody would like to share on that.
I love this question. Definitely, I resonate with the coffee, as I shared. I would say I have like a love-hate relationship with not having a commute anymore. So I think on the one hand, I really appreciate the time it saves. Like it's literally 2 hours of my day that I feel like feels like free for all these other things. I will say I used to take the train a lot, which was a beautiful walk in my neighborhood. Then I got to like chill out on the train and read. And I really miss kind of that centering time. And I would also listen to audiobooks in my car. And now I really don't listen to audiobooks that much. Like I've done a lot more like physical reading, which has been beautiful. But I just don't listen to as many podcasts or audiobooks because I just am not in my car as much. So I think the commute feels like both a blessing and something that I miss in terms of what has changed for me.
I will definitely pick up on that commute thing. So our office is in Long Beach and I live in the Valley. So definitely do not miss the commute. I do miss the people and being in like physical space, like with my coworkers and just getting to say like hi to each other, like in the hallways, even if we're not working with each other that day. And really like, I think the top thing for me is like really miss being like in physical space with our youth. And just the energy they bring to everything and being able to like give people hugs and just be there for them and just listen to people like in physical space with each other, because it's very different than listening to people over Zoom. But I will say, because my time is freed up with not having to deal with traffic and the 405 is that is like I said, like getting time to actually cook and have meals and not be rushing to eat something, getting more time to sleep because sleep is precious. And then also like being able to take a walk in the middle of the day. So during lunch, like being able to like eat and then like take a quick walk around the neighborhood. Those are things that I like really, really appreciate now.
I'm gonna mute myself. Yeah, so really loving these reflections. I am definitely resonating with the commute conversation, even though I'll have to say like I'm so fortunate and privileged and all the things, you know, to live only 9 minutes away from the office. And I don't mean to like, you know, like rub that in or anything. Like for years and years and years, for like 10 years, I would have to drive to work an hour and a half. So I'll say that. So I feel like really fortunate to have this 9-minute commute. And now, of course, there's no commute, but the 9-minute commute was really special because I would just drive down one street most of the time and it's surrounded by trees. And so I really liked it. And actually, I hadn't realized that I actually missed it until last week. Paulina and like Jesse and folks in the office like organized a staff lunch. So a few of us went and had like an outdoor lunch, and we of course were socially distanced and everything. But in that drive, I was like, I need to take the same drive that I would take to work, because I would purposely take the streets, even though I could take the freeway and get there faster. And it was really special, and I really missed it. I was like, yeah, I remember that house and those trees, and you know, just like the little things that you see in the neighborhood. So that for sure is a difference for me. And then also, like, I really resonated with you, Rana, when you said like the saying hello to everyone just on the way in. Just like, of course, like Paulina's the first face we see. We were like in the new office, right? And so just like all the folks that, you know, we see along the way to our desk, but that was like a really special part of the morning that like obviously we don't have anymore. So I do miss that, because it was like an informal way to check in and just see how everyone's doing. And then like the last thing I want to say is that I think it's because one of the gifts of the pandemic is that I've been able to fine tune my morning routine, because for years I struggled with like, since I was a little kid, I was always the one that was like late to school. My mom like literally was like, I don't know what to do with you, child. Like, you're always late to school. You drive me nuts. Like, I can't. Like, she's raising 5 kids and babysitting like 12 other kids. Like, and she like did not know what to do with me. So I think I just like as a little disclaimer there, it's like it seems like, oh, Mayra's got like this discipline down, but yo, it took me like 35 years to get it down, and this pandemic has allowed me to be like, okay, try that routine. Okay, how did that go? That was like, I used to try to meditate for a whole hour in the morning, and then I would just go back to sleep. And like, so just to say, it's been a struggle, and like, I'm finally like, all right, this works. So I just wanted to say all that, because it's not as like easy as like, you know, maybe I made it out to sound. It's been a struggle, but finally got it down. Thanks to the pandemic. One of the gifts, that were silver linings of the pandemic, I have to say.
Thank you for your honesty. I can appreciate that. I've always been someone who I don't know, I guess I can be a little type A when it comes to being on time. Like it's definitely a thing for me. And then the morning, like I said, I'm a morning person, so it was never super difficult. But now that I have a toddler and I have to, well, pre-pandemic, right, when I had to drop her off at daycare, it was always every morning was a struggle to get her out the door, because she's very laid back in some ways, and other ways she's not, but she's very laid back when like getting ready. And it would sometimes take me 20 minutes just to like put on shoes and get out the door. So I can relate to your mom, Mayra, but I appreciate that story. We just move at different paces. Thanks for sharing. I was really curious and wanted to ask you all if you would be willing to share what your work from home spaces look like. I know that for some people it's been difficult to find, to be able to feel productive, to get grounded and settled, because sometimes, you know, there are space limitations, or there's just something that doesn't feel quite right. So I was curious how what your workspaces look like, what's made them feel like workspaces and places where you can do what you need to do. And please feel free to share as much or as little as you want. But yeah, if anyone would like, or whoever would like to start, please feel free to open us up with that. And as a disclaimer, I'm actually at the office now because I'm one of those people that has had trouble working from home and creating, I don't know what the right word for is now, but for me, a workspace where I feel like I could say, this is my workspace, this is where I'm gonna get my work done for the day. It's been really difficult for me. But when I am working from home, little things that help it make it feel like mine, like a workspace, are my planner, my notebooks, some colored pens. It's not very fancy, it's very simple. So yeah, that's me, but I am working, like I said, from the office today, or at least for the morning.
I'll go ahead and and share my space. So I think, Sarah Ogden, you mentioned that your workspaces like change based on the day and things. So my workspace basically is the kitchen. So I'll just go ahead and show you. I don't know how to do this on a laptop, but basically the kitchen is my workspace. And it's not completely clean, so I apologize for that. But what I do like to keep, so I have it's like a bar stool that I use for my desk chair. What I do like to keep is I always like to keep flowers on the kitchen. It's not an island. I don't know what it's called. Peninsula. I don't know what it is, but I like to work up here because there's a little bit more light, and then I like to have flowers because it just makes it a little bit brighter and doesn't make me think that I'm working in the kitchen. but that's the reality we're in. The other thing I keep next to me is I have like a clipboard with like paper so I can take notes, and then there's a lot of stuff on it right now, so I can't really show you that well, but I have like an old like paper filing thing. So there was an office in my hometown that was going out of business. And so they let like other nonprofits come in and take other like old office supplies. And I love vintage office supplies. So I ended up bringing this like wooden paper divider. So that's what I have on my workspace. So kitchen is the new CCEJ Building Bridges Residential Leadership Office.
I love that so much. Like I shared, on a different day, it would literally be like me sitting in my bed or me sitting on the couch, which are the only places to sit in our home that is not this chair. So that's what it would look like on a different day. Today is an office day, so I am in the office. So I'll show you the screen situation. So my partner is a web developer. So these are his that I don't think about and don't touch at all. These are sticky notes to him at different times. These are my notebooks and stuff. I really appreciate everybody talking about notebooks. I'm like a note taker person. Also, very often I'm burning like a candle, something different into the space. And I also here for some of that scent. And then I also want to point out behind me this bookshelf that is empty but beautiful, and this new artwork that we have. So for the first piece of COVID, I had nothing on my walls. So my partner and I have lived here for a little over a year, but we're very slow to nest apparently. And we're just taking our time, and 6 months of that, we haven't really been, leaving the house to go shopping for home goods. So we just haven't really, put anything on the walls, but so many people on Zoom mentioned how my background was always so blank, that I was like, I would like us to prioritize finding something for our home. So we found this bookshelf, which we still have yet to decorate, but we also found this beautiful artwork here. That really just, to me, it brightens up the room. It brings me so much joy. And I don't know if you can see, but on the bookshelf, right there is the glass orb that we blew as an office. So last winter time, we all went and did a glass blowing class together. And so I really like having that there as a reminder of what it was like when we could all be together. So it's literally one of the two things that we put up so far that really feels joyful. And then otherwise, I feel like there's not much happening in this room. This is also like, whenever any of us are working out or trying to get in any movement, it's often in this room because it's the only room that's kind of like has doors realistically that's not the bedroom. So I feel like it's a multi-purpose room in a lot of ways, but it's also full of technology and then things that I feel like I try to bring in to balance out the technology. So that's a little bit about my workspace.
Awesome, thank you.
Super cool to see your spaces. I feel like I've seen you just like the way that I see you now in our Zoom meetings. So it's kind of nice to kind of see a more like 3D kind of video of that. So, and I also feel a little bit like I'm on MTV Cribs, which is really fun and like reminds me of my youth. So yeah, so for me, I'm already moving my laptop. So for me, I live in a little studio. So like I'll basically, like you're gonna see my whole home when I show you like my office space, because it's like where I live, and it's really small. Everything is in one space. But I also have a little balcony. So sometimes I do work outside, and that adds a lot to my day. And it's been really nice to get out there and like do some work out there. But some of the things that are super essential for me, similar to what was already shared, is like my planner. My planner is like right here next to me always. I like to write everything down. I'm old school, of course, colored pens and markers and all the things, because I just love to like color code things, and that just helps me so much to stay organized. And then I'm right here. So I'm like on a couch. So I'm always on my couch when I'm working inside, always accompanied by my dog, Otis. You want to say hi, Otis? She's just giving you the eye right now. And then right here next to me is like my little altar, which I'm also just, I always have right here with me. My morning pages and like a couple books I've been reading are there. And then I have my, I always have right here next to me my ancestors. So on my maternal side, my mom's parents and my mom's grandmother in that picture of three folks right there. And then my mom and me as a younger person when I graduated high school. So those are just like have become really amazing, just like things to have in my day, but like in particular in work too, it's been really just nice and grounding, you know, when I'm getting stuck on things to like anchor back on them. And then of course, similar to what was already shared, like of course we're all friends because like we're all down for the essential oils as you see there, and like my little sage and palo santo. So and then of course some like crystals, and I feel like all those things are grounding just in general, but also when I'm like training, I sometimes will get a little nervous or like off center, and so those are things that have been really amazing to have just kind of handy. And then like the fridge is right there, so I can always but like just get up and get a snack, and all my snacks are like hella organized and ready to go. And then yeah, just like oh, I have a speaker up there, so I like to bump the jams too while I'm working. I don't know if you guys can see it. So those are some things. Oh, and then just so you see like my little like office. It's basically my patio table that I bring in. So this couch is actually a bed at night, and then when it's time to get started on work, I'll put it back in, and then it just becomes an office. So the whole space converts. It looks totally different day and night. And yeah, and oh, and I always have two laptops because it's helpful to have, like in the office, I always had two screens. And so it's nice to have like my agenda or my emails on one, and then like my Zoom calls on the other. And it helps me to kind of just like go back and forth and stay in flow. And then I have like a big ass TV, which I actually bought off of one of our former colleagues, Tanya. And the reason why I mentioned that is because sometimes on my lunch break, I'll watch like a cartoon, and it's like everything. Like I got really into Avatar recently, and so I'll always watch like a cartoon on my lunch break if I can. If I get an actual like hour lunch or 30-minute lunch or whatever, then I'll do that. So all of those things kind of just add to my day and are just part of like the work experience. Oh, I do have a filing cabinet over there too. So it's like very much a everything space. And that's where I file like my like, you know, my work things, my personal things. And I always have my Dyson. Sorry, this is really key and important. I love to vacuum with my Dyson. This is not a commercial, folks. I like am obsessed with it. My family and I make all these jokes about how we all have Dysons, and it's like our lover, because I will Dyson, like I will pull out my Dyson at any given time, and just like, it helps me with my mental health so much to have a clean space while I'm working, folks. So that's a big part of my office experience. And that's basically my office and my home and all the things. So yeah, thanks for coming over and visiting my office.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing and beautiful, and I love it. Thank you all so much. I love seeing, yeah, it's really, I don't know. I'm really enjoying seeing your individual spaces and how they're a little reflective of you. So thank you. I really appreciate it. So just very quickly before we log off, I wanted very quickly if you would like to share what's on your plate for today. For some of us, it's, you know, we'll be working on Long Beach gifts for most of the day, but I'm curious for you as program staff, what's on your plate for today?
So I can jump in. So I am our training coordinator for partnerships development. So I have a few different calls with potential partners and folks who've reached out who want to learn more about our programming. And then other than that, I actually don't have any trainings or workshops today. So I'm going to be doing some prepping for some trainings and workshops that we have next week. So putting together that curriculum is going to be how I'm going to be spending the rest of my day.
Awesome. For me, again, I'm working with the Building Bridges department with residential leadership. And so we are gearing up for an all staff training for our department. And so we use a lot of volunteer facilitators and youth leaders for our programs. And so we're gearing up for our year. And so this weekend we have an all staff training, so working on that, and then have gotten the opportunity to work on some contracts, so getting facilitators for those and making sure things are ready to go for that. So a pretty packed day, but looking forward to getting it all done.
For me, kind of a little bit similar to what other folks shared, because our work is, you know, aligned in some ways. I'm connecting with a couple of partners to set up like logistics on trainings, and then I'm actually co-facilitating with our amazing colleague Gilbert for this program that we're leading called Cultivating Compassion. So it's a community mediation training. So really excited to connect with folks later. And then hopefully, if I have energy at the end of all that, I'm gonna do some reflection for our staff retreat and then look over some curriculum that Sarah and I actually are gonna be revising tomorrow. So yeah, just like a little bit of everything.
Thanks so much. All right. Well, thank you, Mayra. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sara, for joining me today. I really, like, you don't even know. This has made my morning. I had not a great morning before this, so this has made my morning, my day. So thank you for joining me today. For any folks watching, thanks for joining us. This is Long Beach Gives Day. Again, as a reminder, you can donate to CCEJ at donate.longbeachgives.org/CCEJ. Any amount helps. We do have a goal of $10,000 to support our programs, particularly during COVID, as we try to offer a variety of free trainings and spaces for folks. So yes, any amount would really help. Thank you all so much again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Paulina.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. This was amazing.
All right.